Hey guys, Shane here, Fugatech 3D Printing. Today we're going to take a look at Filabot's PETG Plus. Welcome back guys, like I said, today we're going to take a look at and review, print with some Filabot PETG Plus that they sent me a while back and actually gave a roll away during my 300 subscriber contest. And it is vacuum sealed. I actually already cut it open because I was looking at something on the spool itself. But inside you get a sticker, so Filabot sticker, and a Filabot Technical Grade FTG. So it tells you a little about some stuff in here, and then it gives you a discount code, which is 15% off your next filament or pellet order. So you can order pellements through Filabot. They all make, these are guys the makers of the Filextruder. So you can extrude your own filament at home, which is pretty cool if I had the space and if my wife wouldn't kill me, but that's a different thing. Let's take a look at this. Again, it is in the, bag that it should be in. The dust kit pack just fell out between my legs. Now this is a 750 gram roll, so you can tell it's very thin compared to normal, and there's not a whole lot on it. So there is much less, and there is this weird gum band deal going on here to hold on. I guess because of where it ended, they used the gum band in a twisty-wisty way to hold the end of the filament. Here we go. We can just pass that out one of these for now. Looking at the wind, it's a standard wind, not terribly perfect, but it works. This is a solid spool. This is the thinnest spool I've ever seen, which is an interesting thing. Here, let's take a look. So Filabot.com, it's their FTG PETG Plus, 1.75 millimeters. Print temps 240 to 250, and bed temp 60 to 70 C. So this is definitely gonna be something. We're gonna print some cool stuff on the FT5. We're gonna try some vase mode things with this. I have never had this much of a clear filament before, so I also want to look online and see what people recommend are cool prints with a clear filament to see if I can get some cool effects or whatever it is. So let's get to printing and check it out. Alright, well I'll tell you, clear filaments are interesting to print with. They're not necessarily my favorite, but I love PETG just because of the properties of it. It's not as brittle as PLA, it's easier to print than ABS, it's strong, it has a bit of flex to it, and I did print a few models here that I think you guys will like. So the very first one is, as you know, I did pick up a Monoprice Select Mini, and I found a very interesting LED mod in order to do my time lapses. So I have a little mount on the front of the Y, and that holds my GoPro. And there's a little LED setup you can do, and it's using these ball joints, and they have a hole in the middle, so you can see right through there, and they link together. I tried printing these in PLA, and these thin grabbers, the female side, would break. About half of them worked, and half of them failed. Half of them failed actually during the print, and actually I think there was a few that failed in the time lapse for this one, which is okay. That's why I printed 12 at a time, so that if one or two failed, no harm, no foul. I would have several others that would help out. It just would take too long to only print like 2 or 3 at a time. So I printed out, these are actually the extra ones that I have. The other ones are already mounted down on the Monoprice Select Mini for a test fit, because I looked at my LEDs and I don't have any that are thin enough to fit the file unless I was to edit the file. But I went ahead and ordered some LEDs, not a big deal. But hey, this is a perfect thing for a functional print. Again, I'm really big on the functional prints. I don't like to print for no reason. I mean, obviously you see all my things up here that I've printed for no reason, other than I like them. But this is PETG is an excellent thing for a functional print like this, because it's strong, it'll hold its shape, and if you need to add anything extra to these, you can add a zip tie around them, and that will help hold them a little stronger. But it's a great thing to print, you know, PETG with, and again, to be able to do stuff like this at your house without having to buy anything, it's just great. I mean, you really can't beat it with anything else. But these printed out really, really nicely. Again, a few fails, but nothing big. These are printed with glue on the glass. Again, that has been the best thing that I've found for PETG, and this is Filabot's PETG Plus. But either way, PETG on glass with a little bit of glue on there, no worries at all. Usually everything sticks, you know, except for those few fails, but these worked out really nice. I haven't printed a Robber Rex in a long time, so here's a Robber Rex, and I printed it with a high infill because I wanted him to look like snowy, and he really does. You know, it's like this very crystally matte finish to him, which if you print PETG like this, all these are printed at the same temperature, 240 degrees centigrade. If you print it like this, you get a very matte finish. If you print it some other ways I have here, it's a very shiny finish. So, you know, your mileage varies on temperature and infill and number of perimeters. So, you know, keep that in mind for the different things you do. Also, these are printed at 100%. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. 100% infill. This guy was printed at 25% infill, and you can just barely, it's really hard to see here, but you can just barely see his infill. Bottom layer comes out shiny because it's on glass. Top layer comes out matte because it's just on the air, and that's just how it prints. Very nice and smooth. A little bit of lifting here on the tail. That is a very common issue with the Robber Rex. You need to make sure that first layer really gets down there really nice, because that is such a sharp angle. I want to say that's like 25 or 20 degrees, this angle here. So it's a very sharp turn for your printer, and if you don't have your jerk settings down low enough, it makes that turn really fast. And mine's already down pretty low, but that's okay. Hey, he turned out really nice. I like him. He is heavy though, because he has such a high infill rate. But the effects that you have up top almost looks like he has like a skin scaling back and forth all the way down his tail. It looks really cool. So this turned out really nice. Since I had a clear filament, I was like, oh man, printing a clear piggy bank for my daughter would be a pretty cool idea. I scoured Thingiverse for a good half an hour, 45 minutes. I couldn't find anything that was great. So I settled on this model, but I'm really not happy with it at all. And it doesn't have any way in the bottom to get out the coins. And you know, it says print it as many outlines as you want, simply because this is just a smash and open later. Also, the top turned out really, really bad. I just didn't like it. It's so thin here and so flexible. I mean, actually it's splitting here. Because this top layer, I don't know, like the overhang was just so bad. He didn't round it up at all. I mean, he made it flat just like the bottom. And the sides are rounded off a little bit shallower than what his main body is. I mean, tail came out okay. The features, the ears came out okay. It was just this doggone top is just ugly, 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 really bad. And I blame this the model. I don't think PLA would have done this any better. This is 3 perimeters, 0% infill. But if I open this up, again, it's crap. You can see all the strings here from that top layer, and that is just a poor model all in all. Honestly, I cannot blame the filament, because I think everything else would have performed exactly the same. I can't salvage it by just, I guess, pulling that off and tell my daughter, hey, throw stuff in there. But this was just kind of a bust, and I hate when I print bust models. It just is really upsetting. But I'll put a link down below nonetheless. If you want to give it a shot, try it out, but I'm just very unhappy with it. Since it is a clear, we have to do a vase, obviously. So I downloaded a file that had a whole bunch of different vases in it. And the top is huge, but the bottom is tiny. It's like a starfish. And when I saw it sitting like this, I was like, oh, it's going to be a huge base level. Or a base layer, I should say. But when it printed this, I was like, did I select the right model? Because that doesn't look right. And then once it hit vase mode and started going around, I was like, okay, yeah, that was the right model. This was 4 bottom layers and obviously a single perimeter. PETG is nice because it has flex to it. You know, it's really nice. It's almost like a flexible material when it's only one perimeter. Even though here there's a couple little cracks and whatnot, that's actually not the filament cracking. It's just it moving a little bit. I can still fill this up with water all the way to the top, and it's still watertight, which is great. And I mean, this is not a bad little model. I mean, I might use it like a candy dish or something upstairs in our main entryway or something like that. But it's a cool little model, and things like this make my wife happy that I can actually print things. Again, useful items for the house to keep the wife happy. You better be doing it. Trust me, you better be doing it. Especially when you got this kind of outfit going on. You got to be doing it every now and then. But hey, this is, again, the difference between a Robber Rex with 4 perimeters, a difference between the Pig with 3 perimeters, and a difference between a single perimeter, how nice and shiny that looks. So this worked out great, and PETG is really, really good for these type of models. It's just, it's good stuff. I really like it. So again, another successful print. Alright, so now that's out of the way, let's say this filament was provided to me by Filabot, and I appreciate their support in my channel. They sent this to me a while ago, but I actually had quite a few companies hit me up in the early stages of my channel saying, hey, we've got this, send it to you, send it to you, send it to you. You know, I had almost 30 different filaments queued up. I guess I had about 20, and I still have a shelf here full of filaments that I still need to review. So I take my time and try and do a lot of prints on these. I try to spend at least a week or 2 printing with each filament, and I print almost the entire roll. Now this roll was a 750 gram roll, so it is much less than, well, not much less, but it ends up being quite a bit less than a 1 kilogram roll. You don't think 250 grams is a lot, but it actually really is. That's about 100 meters roughly of filament, so that can add up really quick depending on things that you're printing. But either way, so anyways, I thank you guys at Filabot for sending me this filament. It's pretty good stuff. I recommend it if you guys are going to pick it up for PETG Plus, if that's something you need. Again, I'm not a plastics person, but I just know that it prints well. So thank you. So if you guys like this video, please give it a like. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Let me know down below why you didn't. I would love to hear from you. If you want to subscribe to my channel, there's a button right here. Subscriptions go a long, long way. Trust me on that. Even if you're only a frequent follower of mine, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out. There's also a bell icon down below for you diehards, especially you guys that are posting on videos. Go ahead and hit that. You'll get an email anytime my content is posted to the web. If you want to support the channel, lots of ways to do it. Patreon up here, donating $1 more, greatly appreciate it. Current Patreons, thank you for your support. I have affiliate links down below for Amazon, Maker Geeks. There's an eBay one coming in now, and I also have a coupon code. Get 50% off your first month on MakerBox if you're interested in that. All that information is down below, including all of the STLs, the things that I've printed, and to the guys that made them, thank you very much. You make some pretty awesome models because I am a noob and can't make them myself. So as always, guys, happy printing.